Hey guys, Gerry from the DeFi Alpha Gaming Guild here. This is a quick video on Levana. It's a new protocol that's going to be launching on the Terra Luna ecosystem soon. It's a leveraging protocol, so Levana stands for Leverage Any Asset, as you can see here, and it's going to open up a whole lot of DeFi possibilities. Leverage is a very important component when it comes to DeFi to both stabilize the market and be able to short and long different assets. So it's going to be quite useful, especially with Terra now having connectivity to a lot of other blockchains via the IBC. I can see over time there's going to be lots of assets in here, maybe not even crypto assets, like they said, any assets. So you might be able to leverage things like wheat or soybeans or who knows, all sorts of stuff. They're running a bit behind in their schedule, but I think a lot of the Terra ecosystem is possibly because there's been a bit of delay in getting good auditing done. So there's a lot of stuff that's pre-built. It's just ready to go, but waiting on final audits before they can publish. And I know with Levana in particular, they're definitely waiting on the Mars protocol, the money market that's yet to spin up, which is also another Delphi Digital incubated project, as this one is. So what's really interesting about Levana is that they're trying to merge a few different things together here. It's not just a DeFi protocol. It's also basically got some NFT and gaming elements to it. A lot more gaming than I realized initially. So just been catching up on their update from December, which goes in great detail into a lot of that. So if you really want to dive deep into this, check out this Medium post from late December, and especially this town hall video, which I think might have been from late November. It's really interesting stuff. They're trying to quite aggressively build out a lot of things, pretty ambitious what they're trying to pull off. So as you can see from this roadmap here, there's quite a bit in the pipeline. So they've done these two elements. So as a really unique way of bootstrapping the protocol, they had what they call a meteor shower, which I think was in maybe early November, where every hour for 44 hours, people could put a bid in a Dutch auction style on these meteors that were sort of falling down from the sky, and there was maybe about 100 in each hour window, something like that. And there's 3 different rarity types of meteors within that. And basically, with a starting price of 8 UST, you could put a bid in, and if you were in the top, say 30 or 33, whatever it was for each class, the highest bids, then you would actually win one of those. The idea then is, and the NFTs, of course, the idea with that was that once you had your meteor, you could crack it open and see what was inside. So I haven't done this myself yet. I did take part in the actual meteor shower, so I have some uncracked or unopened meteors, so I'll probably try and crack those open while we're recording here. But the concept is from within them, you can get a couple of different assets. I'm not sure if it's in this screen or the other one. So here's a example of some of the meteors. 3 classes: common, rare, and ancient. And you've got different rarity traits which come into play a bit later on. So this graphic here shows it pretty well, actually. If you crack open your meteor, you could get one of two things: meteor dust or an egg. The meteor dust, basically you can use it to craft different in-game elements later on, which we'll touch on to. But if you get an egg, you can also make that egg, kind of seed the egg if you like, with a corresponding meteor dust that matches that type. So you'd need at least 2 meteors to crack open to get what you need to then basically seed a baby dragon, which is going to probably have a lot of power and utility later on, both within the game and I'm sure within the actual leveraging protocol. I'm sure that they'll have something there for users with some of these rare NFTs that they put time and effort into crafting. So there's another example of what you can craft. You're going to have like an avatar that you can put different items on, and that will be used within the game later on. Here's an example of the actual meteor dust, different types. And everyone's going to be able to get an avatar, which is basically just a mannequin that is going to be free for everyone. They want to make it totally accessible, but then over time you can craft different items using your meteor dust. Apparently the meteor dust is not going to be a scarce asset. You'll be able to farm it later on. It's probably going to be a reward for using the leverage protocol in some capacity to gamify things a bit, which is interesting. And it's going to be really fascinating to see how this evolves. So that post's well worth checking out. It's quite in depth. There's a lot going on in it. This just gives you a quick demonstration of how the leveraging will work. So initially they're going to launch a Luna 2x token. So you'll be able to 2x, I'm presuming, long or short with Luna. And basically all they do is they use this Mars protocol here to borrow some funds against it and then buy more of the underlying Luna. So you've ended up getting twice the price exposure. I'm guessing long or short over time, probably. So that's going to be interesting. That's what they're starting with. So basically you deposit Luna and you could get twice the price exposure, probably in either direction for Luna. So a lot of people will find that super popular, especially people who try and sort of swing trade and time dips. They might load up on a Luna 2x and write it up and then dump it and go back into Luna or whatever. So just more on the GameFi side of things. This is another post about the egg nesting, which has just gone live, I think, in the last day or so. So this is kind of a new thing. I think if we go back to the image of the roadmap, you'll see that that's one of the steps that we're approaching. And it looks like it's here now. So we're essentially here. And it looks like, actually, just revisiting this, that has got my attention, the Levana airdrop. So notice that that's coming before this, the Luna 2x. So basically that says to me there's going to be all this stuff happening before the actual launch of the protocol. So a lot of this is more the NFT and gaming side. So if you're wanting to get in on a potential airdrop, get involved. I would say if you don't have a Meteor, maybe consider buying one. You can get them on the open market. They're about 1 Luna each for unopened ones. And some people paid as little as 8 UST. So it's basically a 10x straight away on the mint price. But because it was a Dutch auction, some people paid a lot more or a lot less. Well, not less than 8, but less than others. So, and the rare ones were going for a lot more than the commons. I presume that they're also, they've gone up probably by a similar amount. Let's have a quick look at the rares. Yeah, they're 4 UST. And then the ancients, as you can see, they certainly shoot up in price. So these are pretty significant, 160 Luna. That's a lot of cash. But I can imagine you probably get quite well looked after later on in terms of what using these in game and in the protocol later on would provide. So maybe it's worth it. Who knows? It's all game theory at the moment. So anyway, you could get yourself a common for 1 Luna. That's not a bad sort of starting point. You're going to need at least 2, and you're going to have a bit of luck to get exactly what you need to then get an egg and then seed the egg. If we go back to the marketplace, you'll see there's a few other things. So they mentioned that if you seed an egg, or nest an egg is the term that they use, that I think it says in here that you actually get an unknown NFT, a mystery NFT as a bonus, which I think is this thing here. And I've just sort of noticed today, this is new. So this must be the NFT, the mystery NFT, which I'm guessing is going to be like the Loot project on Ethereum. It's probably a bunch of traits. I don't know if it tells us anymore when we look into it. Okay, looks like, there's certain traits perhaps that maybe apply to your avatar, which is interesting. And, there's a pretty high price on these, so that's interesting. So let's have a quick look. Yeah, so this is my wallet. I haven't gone through this process myself. So I might try and crack 1 or 2 these open and see what we get. If you get an egg, that's pretty good. I think with a common, you've got about a 1 in 7 chance of getting an egg, and a rare a 1 in 3. So the higher up the rarity you went, the higher the chances of getting an egg, which you'll need to be actually able to craft a dragon. There's only going to be 9,000 dragons total, so that is a scarce asset over time. So when we crack open our Meteor, we'll need an egg and some dust that matches its composition to then be able to create or to nest the egg. So one thing I should mention is that you can also buy the dust on the market as well. So you could buy one meteor and crack it open and hope for an egg, and then try and find the corresponding dust and pair it that way, rather than buying 10 or 15 meteors, cracking them all open and hoping you get a match. You could just come in and buy stuff straight off the market if that's what you wanted to do. So let's give it a go. This is all new to me, so let's see what we've got to do. This is meteors.levana.finance. You can get to that, I believe, through there. Yep. So let's crack open my first egg. Here we go. I've got an 83% chance of dust. So yeah, about a 17% chance of an egg, which is probably not going to happen, but let's find out. Certain trades. Okay, cool. I guess there's a bunch of stuff I need to accept. So I have to tick each of these. Of course, I'm not going to read this. Let's do it. Put my password in. Let's see what we get. Now, it's unknown to me if you get looked after with a potential airdrop, if you just have uncracked meteors, if you're just sitting on a bunch of meteors, it probably does pay to get involved with these other steps. See if you can, nest an egg, which will start growing a baby dragon, and probably definitely keep an eye out on these. The mini game, I think it was at the bottom actually of this post. Looks like they're going to go for a Mario Brothers style browser-based game. I think it was in here. There's a lot going on, as you can see. So, Mario style game, that could be quite fun, especially if you can use your own avatars and NFTs in there. And then they're also going, because these guys are big sort of self-confessed nerds, they're creating a little book with a lore in it. And then there's also, I think it was further up here, might have been below it, there's a choose your own adventure style, almost like a graphic novel game as well, for those people who really want to immerse themselves in the lore and there's sort of some of the decision tree of it. So, they're putting a lot of effort in these guys. They interviewed 26 different gaming studios with these requirements, which I'll let you read through. They engaged with 2 of them, and they were saying that it should take about 2 months to build out the game. So it sounds like that should be pretty close, because this was, about a month ago or so when they mentioned all of this. And there's all the stuff that they're building, a lot going on. I think they've got a team of 30 or more people now, so they're pretty serious. Let's have a look on our egg now. Has it cracked? I got some dust. I got some common dust by the looks of that, with sapphire and calcium. So I guess to create an egg, I would need to buy an egg that is compatible, I believe, with these, probably with calcium. So let's go have a quick look. I'm not going to bore you by cracking a bunch of these open, but rarity, was it essence? No. Composition. That's for rare ones. Am I filtering on? Okay, so let's have a look at the rarity. I think I need common. Wow, there is a lot to this, isn't there? They've put a lot of time and effort into this, which is kind of bullish in a way, as long as they can implement what they're actually going for. Composition, I'm thinking it's in here. Calcium, 10%. So they were pretty evenly weighted. So that's for the dust, which I've got. So actually what I need to be looking for is an egg, isn't it? Let's have a quick look. So it looks like there's some dragons already. These might be, let's have a quick look in here. These might be nested dragons, is that right? sure what the difference between a dragon and an egg is. It might be a nested egg. Oh yeah, nested egg, they're saying. Okay, so, well, that's interesting. You can just come in and skip those first steps altogether and buy one. What's the cheapest nested egg? 3.5 ETH, 3.5 Luna. That's, that's probably not a bad buy at this point. When your meteors, the common ones, are 1, you would need to crack 2 of them open as a bare minimum with the right composition, which is probably very unlikely to happen from 2, to then get to this point. So for the price of 3.5 meteors, you can just get one of these guys. I actually think that's quite good value. And because I believe this has only just happened today or in the last 48 hours, this would be pretty new to the market. So that's interesting. I think that's, if someone wants to, have a crack at this and hasn't got exposure to Levana, not sure why the images aren't loading, but that might be, good value, buying one at that level if you've got the capital to do it. So anyway, let's quickly go back. Where were we? So I want to buy an egg that's not been nested. That is the right rarity, common. And I guess has to have the right composition, common composition of calcium. What would that cost me? See, that doesn't make any sense at all right now. That's not the lowest price. My apologies. Let's have a look. Still doesn't make any sense. So this, to me, buying one of those nested eggs is just screaming buy at this point. There's an arb right here. You could just, this is not a nested egg, and it's higher in price than the floor of nested eggs. So that's something to consider. This is the interesting thing with GameFi and NFTs. There's so many ways to play things, which is very interesting. So this is a project to keep an eye on. There's an awful lot going on. They seem quite serious, and they seem to be delivering, to be honest. They're getting runs on the board already with the pre-protocol stuff, with the NFT stuff and the gaming by the looks of it. So pretty ambitious project to wrap all of that into one thing. But again, it's incubated by Delphi Digital, who honestly are fast becoming, if not already, the leaders in the space in terms of venture capital and incubating projects. If you're not aware, they're behind a lot of the Terra stuff, including Astroport, Mars, and they're also the big brains behind the Axie Infinity token, and you saw what happened there. So they spent a lot of time helping incubate projects and helping them out with their tokenomics, which is super important. So anyway, guys, I hope that was interesting. Thanks for watching. Bye.